Hello everyone, today I'm speaking with Pratham Jindal, the founder and CEO of Praper Media, a content agency collaborating with some of the biggest creators on the planet. He shares his journey from a 13-year-old dreaming of becoming a YouTuber to now leading a 6-figure video content agency. Amazing stuff. Pratham opens up about self-promotion on Instagram, attracting American clients, talks about spending 100 rupees on a super chat to secure his first customer. He delves into his unique hiring philosophy and shares insights on AI, ChatGPT and Sora. He unveils his unique framework for hiring staff and discusses effective cold email strategies. Pratham offers valuable advice on transitioning from a solo freelancer to starting your own agency, and he finally talks about why he's creating a K-pop channel in India and much, much more. So please enjoy the show. Thank you. Hello, Pratham. Thank you for coming on the Indian Startup Show today.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you for inviting me.
Please tell the listeners what you're building.
Hi, guys. I'm Pratham. I am founder and CEO at Praper Media. So, at Praper, basically, we are helping creators create. So, you can take your Instagram creators or YouTube creators and we help them with the back end stuff, all the boring stuff, the editing.
What inspired you to start this amazing business?
So, I've been creating content since I was 13, right? So, I used to watch AIB. I don't know if you know Neil. AIB and your TVF, all these like early starters of YouTube in India.
Oh yeah,
right. I got inspired by them and I was like, okay, this is something that I am really interested in.
Talk about the early days.
So that's a very interesting story. So this was in the lockdown. So Prepper is a lockdown baby. In lockdown, I used to watch this creator called JB Koi, right? So he does reaction videos on YouTube, and I got really into it, and like I got really hooked. And one day he was live streaming, and I was just at home doing nothing, right? Because in the lockdown, everything closed. There's nothing to do, no work, right? So I one day was live streaming, and I just sent them a super chat of like 100 rupees. Right? I was like, okay, I am an editor. Do you guys need an editor? Right? And I love you guys stuff. So they reached out to me, and I started working with them like this.
Wow! So that's how you got your first customer.
Yeah, exactly.
And how are things going now? So you started with 100 rupees. Share some stats.
Back then, it was just me in my room, in my parents' home, just one room. I was just like on my laptop doing stuff. For the first month, I made about 7,000 rupees. That's about $90, I think. Then it scaled from there. They started trusting me. They gave me more work, and I got a lot of work from referrals. Till then, so now, like in the financial year 23-24, we'll do at least two CR. That's about two crores. Yeah, so that's about $250,000.
Wow, that's amazing. How do you think?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that then?
It feels great, man. Coming from middle class to be able to do this and to be able to like create employment. That's a biggest takeaway for me.
Yeah. And talk about that first year then, because you went from getting people from YouTube channels, and you mentioned American clients as well.
Yeah. So I didn't want to do this full time, right?
Ah, right. Okay.
Back then, okay, I was like, okay, I'll do this for maybe 6 months or a year until this lockdown thing gets over. Then maybe I'll move to Mumbai or like a bigger city to like maybe work in like a production company or like a proper content company. But it grew. Like after 6 months, he gave me a referral of more work of like another client, and I got that work as well. So I started working with that client as well, and at a point of time, the work became too much, so I had to hire someone. So that's when I started like looking for people who can help me. Right. So I hired my school junior back then. So he knew a bit of editing and like I taught him and stuff. So that's how we started working. So that was the first year. There was no marketing, no nothing, like no name. It was just the three of us just editing videos for people and like from our homes and just doing stuff and making money.
And then the second year, talk about that second year. So obviously you got some sort of team in place and some sort of revenue and some customers. Then
yeah. So about the second year, we were doing about 2 to 3 lakhs per month, right? Revenue. So it was just like me and Jatin, our current CEO, and another maybe a couple of other people, interns that we hired off of online, right? So in November of 2021, then we moved to like a proper three bedroom apartment, right? And I was living in one bedroom, Jatin was in another, and the third bedroom we converted into an office space.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah.
So we were editing out of that, right? We started hiring people from there, from intern shala. We didn't have like a huge budget to hire people back then. So we
Mm-hmm.
were mostly hiring interns, training them on how to do work and getting the work done ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yeah, so for like I guess for 2 years, maybe like 1.5 to 2 years, we didn't do any marketing. We were just growing based off of referrals. The people kept referring us to more people. They were like, okay, we really like your work. This is my friend. Would you like to work for him as well? So it was just that for the first 2 years. In Feb of 2022, I started cold emailing people.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay.
Right.
Right.
I
Right.
was okay, like this is who I work with, and this is what I can do you. This is do with you, and
Yeah.
this is how I can provide value to you guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. So I started pitching them. I got a couple of clients through that. Yeah. So we moved into our proper office space after that, into like a 600 square foot space in May of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And another year, so back then we were like 5 to 7 people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then in another year we grew up till about 25, 30 people.
Wow.
Right. So we like the office space became very crowded, so we had
Yeah.
to move offices. Right. So in May of 2023 we got this office that we are currently in. This is about a 2000 square foot space.
Mm-hmm.
So now currently we are about 40 45 people,
Okay.
doing currently about 16 to 18 lakhs per month.
Wow. Amazing. That cold emailing strategies. Yeah. If you can advise our listeners on doing that, because actually 99% you're gonna get rejected, aren't you? So if you put it.
Yeah, and that was the case, right? So I had like a very basic template, right? Back then I didn't know what I was doing, but I had an idea that the most important thing is that you provide value, that you show how you can provide value. So first of all, I hooked them. So we were working with a couple of big clients back then, by that time. So I hooked them with their names. So I put their names in the title, or in the like in like the first line itself. So instantly you create credibility with them. And then I would show them, okay, this is how. So I write 5 points or 3 points on this is how we can help you, right? So yeah, that was like a very basic template. And I would research about them a bit, right? Like, is there any specific areas that they're looking at? So I would do that. It wasn't like very successful, I would say. Again, you said the right stats. I only got reply back about 10% of the times, and conversion rate was about 1 to 2%. But yeah,
Oh.
that was like a good boost for us, like a good
Yeah.
revenue boost. So we got like a couple of big clients through that, and our name got out there.
But in terms of the sales process, how long would that take then? Let's say they get back to you and said, yeah, okay, I'm interested. Then there has to be some sort of issue on pricing and etc. and stuff like that.
There hasn't been like a big issue with pricing,
Okay.
right? Because we are working with mostly US clients, right? And we're sitting here in India. So there's like a huge, what you would say, the pricing. So the US dollar is very strong compared to the Indian rupee,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? So we are able to charge below what a guy in the US would charge.
Do you use, in terms of marketing now, do you use different platforms? Do you use like, Odesk or Fiverr.com, or do you still need to use those marketing channels? What works for you and what doesn't work for you in terms of marketing your company?
Yeah, Fiverr.com, or like any like, or maybe other websites that you mentioned. I'm not really a big fan of them,
Right.
because let's just take it like video editing is a commodity, right? And people on Fiverr and freelancer or these sites, they're selling it for very cheap, and like very low margins and stuff like that. So most of our clients have been direct, like we approach them or they approach us. So a biggest marketing channel for us has been Instagram,
Okay.
right? So we created like a very basic Instagram page. We got testimonials from our existing clients. We created like an ad of sorts with them, and we just use that on Instagram. And we told, like, we asked our client, can you like shout out us in your videos, right? Or can you put our like Instagram link in your descriptions? So that's how people would reach out to us. They were like, okay, we saw you in the Real Jets video, or we saw you in this guy's video, and they would reach out on our Instagram.
So far, so good. Obviously, you're growing pretty quickly. Talk about your hiring philosophy and strategies then.
Like the biggest thing we look for is ability of a person to learn, and is he a good fit or at prepper or not. So we basically have like four stage hiring process, I would
Mhm.
say, right? So first of all, like whenever they come across like our job, like if we have put our job somewhere, right? Let's just say on LinkedIn or on Instagram. So they would fill out a Google form first of all.
Mhm.
So there's like a very basic screening questions that we have. Okay, are you available to come in office? Which city are you in? And some
Mhm.
other basic personality test questions that we ask them. And so like the 50% of the candidates get screened out in the Google form itself.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah. So then there's the HR round call. So earlier it used to be me. I would do everything, right?
Huh.
From taking from the Google form
Ah,
to
right.
the last
Yeah.
step. But now we have like a team. So the second step is an HR call. So our HR calls them, like asks some very basic questions, screens them. And I would say another 50% of them get screened in the HR call. Whoever like qualifies the HR call, then we have like a technical round for them. So they would be given a set of questions that they will have to perform while sharing their screen
Okay.
with
Okay.
one of our interviewers.
Yeah.
So I've trained a couple of people from the company itself. They ask those questions and they screen those candidates.
Mhm.
And then whoever remains from that, they have a final round with me. So I still take the final round of everyone that we hire, and I do like a basic personality test, and if he or she is a good fit at Prepper or not. What are the qualities that these guys have?
Mhm.
How will they fit with our team? So those things.
Quite a thorough process there. Have you had any like key takeaways from the hiring process? Anything you want to share with our listeners?
The biggest mistake I can tell you I've made most of the time is not trusting my gut. 4 out of 5 times that I've not like gone against my gut feeling, I have been wrong.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
trust your gut, I guess.
Just your good. Okay.
It's
How's your sort of management style? Are you a hands-off person or a hands-on person? Because obviously you started this business on your own in your bedroom, and now you're managing quite a few staff.
So earlier, I used to be very hands-on. So I would like, okay, let me teach you how to do this. I will make them sit with me, teach them the process and everything. But right now, it's mostly hands-off. So I've created a couple of SOPs, right? And the processes are already in place. So I don't need to be involved in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Every step I take, it's about eliminating me. Even in the management level, even the team leads level or at CEO level, I've told them ki always work towards eliminating yourself, make yourself redundant,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So you train other people to be able to take up your jobs. So let's just say if I am not available or any other person is not available, there shouldn't be any hindrance in the process of the company or in the workings of the company. So that has been our style most of all, and
Yeah.
has been working quite effectively.
Okay. And talk about that industry. It's booming at the moment. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Everyone wants to seem to be a creator of some sort. Talk about that. That seems to be booming. Obviously, that's good for your business as well.
It's been really great for us as well because aside from this editing business, we have also started a couple of content channels. One is I don't know if you know about K-pop, K-drama,
Yeah. Yeah.
all
Yeah.
this.
Korean pop.
So I found this gap in the market because there's like a huge Indian audience, Indian fans of K-pop and K-drama,
All right.
but there weren't enough content creators who were making content for that specific niche,
That's
right?
interesting.
Yeah. So we started making content for that, and right now we are at 10,000 followers on Instagram and about 26,000 on YouTube.
How did you find that niche then?
It was just like that, like observing the market. And we had like, so I hired this girl in office, so
Mm,
she was a big fan of K-pop and K-drama.
mm,
So I got interested, okay, like what is this thing like,
yeah.
right? And then went deeper into it, I was like, okay, this seems like an interesting market because if you see BTS Instagram, right? BTS or Blackpink or these groups, they have
Mm,
huge following, right? Over 100 million followers, right? But why haven't we seen people creating content around that? Because there's a lot of content around Bollywood, Hollywood, but not enough around K-pop and K-dramas. So that's how that idea came. But yeah, to your original question, it's a great market. It's a great industry to be in if you're able to crack it, right? And I don't think the biggest thing that works is consistency. A person doing it consistently for 2 years would beat someone having better quality but not enough consistency,
when you say
right?
consistency, you mean like one video a week, perhaps? So one video a day or one video a week? for 2 years, do you
That
think?
doesn't matter. That
No.
doesn't matter. Consistency isn't equals to numbers. It's just if you're doing one video a week, you do that one video a week for 2 years. If you're doing one video a day, you do one video a day for 2 years, and you
'Cause-
will see results. You will outgrow everyone
yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah. Because it seems everyone wants to do their own content at the moment. So, any other advice? Any other key takeaways of creating a content channel?
So we tried another channel as well before this, an infotainment channel called Nitty Gritty, and we failed in that. People think content is an easy game, like anybody can get content. You need to identify if you have the time and the skills required to make content, because it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of time. So before jumping into it, before quitting your job, maybe start doing it as like a side thing. So
Yeah.
that's my key takeaway, because it's not an easy job.
And obviously, it's up to the algorithms as well. The YouTube algorithms, the Instagram algorithms. I mean, you have to play nicely with those algorithms as well, I suppose.
I mean, I've seen people talk about, okay, maybe do your title like this, it will work. Do your description like this. Put tags, don't put tags. Optimize for watch time. I You get all that, but all that is just, I would say, 2 to 3%
Ah,
of the actual success. What succeeds at the end of the day is good content. The content which is shareable, the content that people relate to, or the content which educates people. As it's always been, like three things succeed: either you entertain people, or you inspire people, or you educate people.
channel failed. Why did you, looking back? Um,
Biggest reason I think would be not being able to give it enough time, because Prepper was still growing really fast at that time, and I hadn't delegated all the tasks, right? So I wasn't able to give as much time to that thing, and I think that was the biggest reason. Too early for
too
us.
early. Okay. In terms of like AI, Chat GPT, I think there's someone called Sora AI, text to video.
Yeah.
Are you worried about this, or is this an opportunity, or is it a threat? Having seen it in terms of your industry, what your thoughts on AI revolution?
So yeah, I saw Sora AM, and that's I have no words, right? It's brilliant,
It
like
is.
what we have been able to achieve in like
It is.
just a couple of years,
Yeah, it is.
right? The AI thing started in start of 2023, and it's just 2024, and we've come so far. But I think I'm not afraid of it, because I think it will only replace the people who are just doing your very manual work, or just who are doing the same work every day, and that can be replaced by AI. But if you are a great thinker, if you have great imagination, AI still needs you to perform that task. So let's just take an example of an illustrator. So if you are an illustrator who is just looking at a thing and just animating it, but you are not the original creator of that thing. Like let's just take the example of Hulk,
Mm. Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Someone who created Hulk from their imagination, that person will be very important. But the people who are making Hulk into 3D, making animating that, and like doing all the backhands, like the modeling, texturing, all those things, they should be worried, I think. Why? Because I think this will happen is, like, let's just say I'm an illustrator, and I illustrated Hulk using my pen and pencil on a paper, right? And
Mm.
I gave that to AI, whichever AI, Sora or whatever, I don't know what's going to come. I gave that to AI, and I told them to create a 3D model, animate this, and create a storyline from this, right? I think that is how humans will work with AI, right? You are still the person who imagines, and AI is just who brings your imagination to reality.
Like I say, it's growing really fast. How do you
Yeah.
keep on top of the things then?
I mean, it's internet, man. Internet is a bigger resource in whatever you want to learn. So I've been like delving into prompt engineering, right?
Okay,
So I was
what's
like, okay, let me learn about that. How to, so it's basically how to give prompts to AI
that? Okay,
to be
okay.
able to get the best
Yeah,
results,
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
right? So I've been delving into that, looking into courses. Okay, what can I learn? So maybe Coursera or Udemy or YouTube, wherever I can learn from. And then, okay, so like our whole team is very young, and they get very excited about all these things. So whenever there's something new, everybody shares in the group, hey guys, have a look at this.
Uh-huh.
And I go to them, I talk to them, okay, how can we use this in our workflow? Like Firefly came in, and we have been using that. Like Photoshop's own, like those AI generative, that's they are built in Photoshop. We have been using that for like a year now. So
Okay.
it's been great.
What's been the best experience so far?
I mean, the biggest highlight is like working with such a big team. I never imagined that I would be working with about 40 people. I would like to be able to gather so many people in a room and have them come every day and work for you. It's just wild to me,
Mhm.
right? I never would have met 2 years back. I never imagined I'd be able to get here, right?
Yeah,
And that's the biggest thing. And like the biggest thing that gives me joy, I would say, is when I see everyone just enjoying, not the working, whenever they are like enjoying or like partying together. So I was like, okay, I created something, and it's a good feeling.
yeah, yeah. It must be a good feeling. Yeah. But do you know everyone's names? You know, can you obviously if it's like 6 or 7 people. You know those 6 or 7 people. There's 45 people. It
No,
must.
no, but yeah, yeah, I know everyone's name. When they're new, I have to like really think hard. Okay, what was his name? But after like a week or so, it's fine.
Okay, that's good. How would you reflect on your entrepreneurial journey so far?
That's a very broad question, but I'll
Mhm.
try to answer it. I mean, I feel very lucky, first of all, to be able to do this. I think there has to be some luck factor involved, right? People tell me it's your hard work, it's not luck, but I would like to believe that there's some luck involved as well. Thank God for that. And it's great to see that people like 40 people trust in my vision and they are ready to work with me, and we're able to serve so many clients across countries and not just in India. And I've got to meet so many amazing people through
Hmm.
this as well. Like you, Neil.
Hmm.
I've met so many amazing people, right?
Like,
And so many amazing entrepreneurs. I've learned from them a lot. And I think it's just the start,
yeah.
right? We built this editing business. Now we're going into the content space,
Okay.
right? So let's just see
Yeah. Yeah.
how
How
it goes.
big do you want to go with this then? Say in like 10 years time, what would this company look like? Would you say?
If the content things takes off, I don't know, man. The sky is the limit after that. But I think the services business, I don't think it's gonna get that big, because at the end of the day, it's services and it's a lot of work. Like customizing everything for everyone, it's a lot of work. And we would like to get into like a product business pretty
Hmm.
soon. So that's what I've been aiming for. And personally, also, I've been trying to create my own Instagram content now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And yeah, and I also I'm looking into creating like a course of sorts for people who are freelancing right now and want to get like build their own agency of sort.
Yeah, yeah. Talk about that because a lot of freelancers. I used to be a freelancer. They just go from one job to another job. But you've managed to make that transition.
But yeah, I get a lot of queries on LinkedIn as well, and that's how I got the idea as well. Ki how do you go from freelancer to a agency owner, right? So I think the biggest thing I've like observed currently is people aren't able to let go of the idea that someone else can also do the job that they're currently doing. They need to understand, right? So my philosophy is, if someone can do the same work at 90%, right? At 90% of my efficiency or at 90% of my speed or whatever, I think it's good to go. I let them take the charge. Some people would get very sticky on that 10% key. I need this to be perfect. I'll do this myself,
Mm.
right? And that's when they don't scale, right? And that's the biggest hindrance them scaling to an agency model, I think,
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. That. Yeah. Right. Right.
right? So yeah,
Yeah.
so I have another few insights as well, which I would like to say for my course.
Good stuff. Yeah, you mentioned hard work. I mean, do you think you've like missed out on, the social life, as it were? Because obviously you started, 19, 20. Most people want to go out with their friends and enjoy
Yeah,
themselves, but you were in your bedroom editing videos.
I mean, I've always been like that, so I never went to college as well,
Oh, okay.
right? I was like, okay, I straight away after my like high school, I went to this institute where they teach you video editing and graphic designing and VFX and all these things,
All right.
right? So I learned from there, and alongside I did a lot of I was doing internships. So
Ah,
I
okay.
interned for like a news company, I interned for a digital marketing company, right? I tried my hands on everything like photography, videography, and then your digital marketing,
Ah, okay.
right? So yeah, so I've always been like this. I think it's the path that you choose, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can't have regrets. If you have regrets, then it's not a good life. So I really don't have any regrets that I didn't enjoy my life as
Mhm.
much, because I think I'm doing that now,
Yeah, definitely.
right?
Um,
And with a lot more freedom.
yeah. So looking back, you wouldn't change anything then.
No, not really.
Okay. Yeah.
I would keep creating content that I started at 13,
Mm,
but nothing else.
cool. Last few questions then. Has anyone helped you on your journey? Is anyone you like to thank?
Yeah, I guess my parents, first of all, who let me do this, because in India, as you might know, that
Yeah.
it's it's you either do engineering or doctor or
Mhm,
lawyer, or you're no good at all.
mhm,
But they trusted me, they let me do this. And then I would really like to thank my COO Jatin,
mhm,
because he has been like a big part of what we're able to build,
mhm.
right? And all my teammates who have been there.
What were you like at school then? Were you like at the back of the class or the front of the class or?
I was back of the class,
Okay.
but I was really good at studies. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And your first impressions of G10?
I didn't knew him in school at all,
All right. Okay. Okay.
right? I got to know about Jatin after I passed out from that school.
Okay.
So we my friend was conducting an MUN, and that's where I met Jatin, because I went back to like help them with the media stuff and everything,
Mhm, mhm.
right? And that's where I met Jatin, because he was struggling with the whole thing about creating videos and stuff.
Okay. Okay. What were your like first impressions of him then? Oh, and why do you think that this partnership was going to work?
I so he was really willing to work. Back then, it was just me trying to help them, okay, being able to organize this MUN. But he was really trying to learn everything, sitting with me. How do you do this? How do you do that? Right. Hiring Jatin is also a very interesting story. So our mutual friend Ashutosh, who is also our chief of staff right now, so he recommended that I was in a very like a picky state back
Yeah.
then. So the only editor that I had, he left without notice.
Oh.
So it's like, okay, I'm going. I can't do this. Right. I got another offer.
Ah, right.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Okay.
and there's me panicking. I had this like a bunch of work that has come in, and we need to do it today. So, and I'm panicking, and I called my friend what to do, what to do. And he was like, okay, you remember Jatin, right? Maybe you call him, maybe he'll help, maybe he can help you. So that's when I called Jatin. And he said, I don't have internet at home, right? But I'll manage something, you send me the files.
Ah, right.
I was like, okay. I sent him the files, and the next day he got back to me and he sent an edit, a really bad edit, but still something, right? So I asked him like, how did you manage to do this if you didn't have the internet? He was like, okay, I knew the Wi-Fi password of one of the restaurant near my house. So I went there, I downloaded the files, I came back, edited, and then sent those files again. So that really
Great.
stuck to me,
Yeah.
right? That
Definitely.
someone's willing to go that way to be able
The
to
rest.
like. So that's when I got to know, okay, okay, this man is will be there with me for a
Mm,
long time.
mm, mm.
And he's a CEO now. So yeah,
Oh,
he's
bloody
managing
wow.
all the operations
So,
and everything.
what a great story. So he basically went the extra mile, and that's what the key takeaway from
Yeah,
that is, yeah, definitely. 100%.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Last few questions then. Advice for our first time founders. What must they be focusing on?
I would say get people to do whatever you're currently doing as soon as you can, right? So you can focus on the more important task like growth, right? Delegate as much as possible, and be happy if they're able to do 90% of what you're doing. I would say that's my biggest advice.
Mhm. Awesome. And what qualities should entrepreneurs have? What's the one main quality you say?
I would say first of all is communication, right? Communication is one of the biggest qualities that's going to help you in your career, right? Communication with your employees, communication with your clients, communication with your partners, everyone, right?
Awesome stuff. Where are you based?
We are based out of Chandigarh.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I went to Chandigarh
Yeah.
a long,
Oh,
long
you
time
did?
ago. It's quite a nice place, actually.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember
great.
sectors. They didn't have street names, that's sectors. Is that still a
Yeah, yeah,
thing?
we have sectors. Yeah.
And the lake. I remember a lake. Quite a
Yeah,
nice lake,
Sukna
actually.
Lake. Yeah.
Okay. In terms of the entrepreneurial scene in Chandigarh, what's that like?
It's growing.
Yeah.
It's in the very like infant space, infant phase, I would say,
Mm.
right? Because Chandigarh is growing as like the next tier two hub, right?
Oh,
And
right.
as
Okay.
you can see,
Yeah.
right, Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, all of these are like saturated at this point, right? There's so much traffic, right? And there's so many companies that there's no room for smaller players. So other tier two companies along with Chandigarh, they are developing to be the hub. And I think it's going to be great.
Thanks for coming on the show. People want more information on you. How do they get in touch?
You can go to my LinkedIn, Pratham Jindal, or you can go to my Instagram. Or you can, if you want to know about Prepper, you can go to preppermedia.com or our Instagram, PrepperHQ. And if you want to see the behind the scenes of all the fun activities that we do, then you can go to Team Prepper on Instagram. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for coming on the Indian Stop Show today. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you for having me.
Awesome stuff.
Had a
Yeah.
great time, man.
Awesome.